Need cheap coins right now? Check out redzonecoins.com. For the very best discount available, use code DIRECTOR for 20% off. Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director. Chargers fans, it's that time of year, man. We got our final 53-man roster. We're going to be revealing this roster in today's video. I'm sure some of you guys have probably seen it by now, but I've kind of skimmed over a couple things on Twitter. I myself haven't seen the full 53-man roster yet, but I do know of a couple of guys that didn't make the squad that I was a little upset about. But in this video, we're going to be revealing it. I'm going to give you guys my reactions, and then let's talk a little bit in the comments section. See, what moves the Chargers could still make. Maybe some of the roster moves that we don't agree with, and maybe some of the guys that didn't make the team that we wish made the team. Before we get started, guys, hit us up with a like and sub. If you do enjoy this content, the small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this video. Lights, camera, action. The Chargers trimmed down to 53. I'm actually really excited to go over this, man. Like, I know of a lot of them. I have to assume a lot of them. But I'm excited to see, especially at wide receiver, what we're doing. So, the Chargers put out this album. It's the entire roster from 1 to 53, I guess 1 to 100 with the jersey numbers and stuff like that. Let's get going, man. Ty Long, number 1 for the Bolts. Obviously, great punter. Number 2 was Easton Stick. I did hear somebody say that Easton Stick should have gotten cut. No, man. Easton Stick is our long-term backup. We've got 3 quarterbacks this year, but next year, Tyrod's contract is up, so we're gonna need a backup. I love Easton Stick in that role. I have full faith in him if we ever need to roll him out there if something happens. Next up, we got Michael Badley, the money badger in the house. I'm so happy that we landed him. I was really upset when we let go of Josh Lambo, but Money Badger, man, has really proven to be a capable kicker. Next up, our fearless leader, Tyrod Taylor, of course. Let's go ahead and make this a little bigger so you guys can see it better. Yeah, there we go. Tyrod Taylor, number 5. Number 10, and Justin Herbert, the future of this franchise. Number 12, and Joe Reed. Had to assume he was going to make it. We need more speed out there at wide receiver. 13 and Keenan Allen. Oh man, I gotta do a video or something because I'm so hyped that they were able to re-sign him for the further 4 years, which is absolutely insane. I would be very, very happy to see Keenan Allen, prosper with Justin Herbert in the future. Next up is Jalen Guyton. Very interesting. He's probably my favorite for the 3rd wide receiver spot right now, although I think KJ Hill's going to take that spot in the near future. Next up, we got Desmond King, number 20. If you guys haven't seen yet, I did a full Chargers 2020 season simulation in Madden 21. And we put Desmond King in at safety. This might be something we see a lot of this year, Desmond King playing that Derwin James role while Derwin James sits out his injury. So I don't know, man. Looks sharp. Next up is Justin Jackson. I fully expect Justin Jackson to have a huge role this year. It's not similar to what Austin Eckler had, but at least in touches and in exposure to this season, which is very cool. Next up, we got number 23, Rashaan Jenkins. This guy's awesome, man. I think he needs to step up a little bit this year, but I think he's underrated. I think a lot of people are excited to see what he can do. But especially at that safety spot right now, we need some guys to really step up and, go above and beyond with the absence of Derwin James. Next up, speaking of the absence of Derwin James and guys that need to step up, not that these guys have been bad. Nasir Adderley injured last season. I have huge expectations for Nasir Adderley this year. That playmaker down the field, I feel like he's so capable of it. I get Earl Thomas vibes every time I watch his tape like crazy. I think he's going to be awesome this year, guys. Let me know what you guys think of Nasir Adderley this season. Next up, number 25, Chris Harris Jr., new acquisition. This defensive backcourt, insane, man. Next up, Casey Hayward, again, one of our fearless leaders for the last however many years. Him, Chris Harris, and Casey Hayward together, insane. And Desmond King, man. Number 27, Joshua Kelly. I did just read today that Austin Eckler does like Joshua Kelly quite a bit. And he says he's been improving so much over camp. So you can fully expect that 1-2 punch. Joshua Kelly going to help us in those, bruiser back situations quite a bit. Next up is Brandon Fashion. I'm sorry. This is one of those names. Rarely do I not know how to pronounce the name of Chargers players, but I'm going to say Fashion. My bad, dudes. Cornerback, he's been decent. Need to see a little bit more improvement this year. Austin Eckler, the breakout player from last year, making his return. We got number 32, Elohi Gilman. That's right, him and this year Adderley. He switched his number to 24 now. Elohi Gilman, number 32. Huge expectation of Elohi Gilman this year, man. I don't know how much they're going to get him involved in the absence of Derwin James, but he's going to definitely be playing more than he was just a couple weeks ago. Next up is Tavon Campbell. He looks pretty good. Honestly, I'll be honest, I don't know too much about this player, but good to have him on the squad. Uchenna Nwosu, who I feel is the future post Melvin Ingram. He's going to be awesome, man. That game, that playoff game versus the Ravens, where he strip sacked Lamar Jackson. At that moment, I knew the future looks good with Uchenna Nwosu down the line. Next up, number 43, Michael Davis. Michael Davis, dude, he's got the height and the speed of one of the best, corners in the league. He just needs to improve on his game a little bit, maybe a little bit more instinctual reaction. But he's good, man. It's good to have him back. Khazir White, a lot of people love Khazir White, man. He's going to be great. I feel like he improves every year just a little bit. I have big expectations for him this year again. Next up is Cole Mazza. I remember this guy from Hard Knocks. He's a depth position player at center. Now that we got Scott Questenberry and Mike Pouncey there, I don't know how much he's going to see the field, but good to have depth at that position. Next up is Donald Parham, dude. Donald Parham. I'm actually kind of shocked and so happy that he made the final 53. I don't know if you guys watch Hard Knocks and saw him standing next to Justin Herbert, who is 6'6". Donald Parham was towering over Justin Herbert, man. This is a huge target. Not to mention, he's probably one of the fastest tight ends in the league right now, especially for his height. Absolutely insane. I want to see him get more involved. Next up, Drew Tranquil. Probably one of the biggest surprises from his draft for me on the Chargers. He's been so good. The reason he fell is because I think he was a little bit older coming into the draft, so he didn't have as much time to improve over his career. But man, he's been so good. Absolute steal for the Bolts. Can't wait to see him in just this next weekend. Football's in a week, dudes. I'm so excited. Next up, we got Amik Egbul. This guy's pretty good, man. Linebacker. We'll see what happens with him. I think some people were wondering if he would make the roster. 52, Denzel Perriman. A lot of people thought Denzel might get traded, but you know what, man? The more depth at linebacker, the better. And I think Denzel Perriman, he knows the system. He's a big hitter. If he can stay healthy, the Chargers linebacker core is going to look a lot different this year in terms of quality. Next up is Mike Pouncey. Guy's been super reliable for very many years. Very excited to see him back. Melvin Ingram, the man I was so worried about for a while on the Chargers, makes his return. I'm so excited to see him back on the team this year. I was so worried that he was going to leave, but welcome back, Melvin Ingram. Kenneth Murray, the new friggin' rookie linebacker. Talk about high expectations year one, man. I don't know. I have a feeling about Kenneth Murray. I feel it in my bones. I know this guy is going to be a crazy good football player, man. So we just have to sit back, watch, relax, and wait and see, for the talent to really surface over his time at linebacker. He's going to be so good. Nick Vigil, underrated linebacker signing this offseason. He's awesome. Great depth position. He's a really good tackler, man. I think he led the Bengals in tackling last year. Don't quote me on that, but he had really good tackling numbers with the Bengals last year. Next up, we have got Scott Questenberry. This guy was really good last year. I was actually quite shocked at how good he was last year. Very nice depth piece there. Dan Feeney, probably our projected starter at left guard. I'm excited, man. I hope that he steps up this year as well. Sam Tevi. I'm hoping, man. Man, Sam Tevi, if you can prove me wrong, man, I would be so happy, dude. I know there's a lot of concerns. He's projected starter at left tackle. Maybe he does better, man. He was better at left tackle in the past when he was playing on that side. Maybe there's hope. Next up, we got Trey Turner, man. This guy, I cannot believe how lucky the Chargers got in being able to trade for Trey Turner. Multiple Pro Bowler. The guy's an absolute beast. He's young. Very good trade for the Chargers. Although I'll miss Russell Okung, this guy's going to be an awesome piece on the chart or on the team for a long time. Next up, we got Damien Square. Nice, good depth position at defensive tackle. We got Tyrese St Louis. What is he? He's a tackle. Okay, we'll see. He's kind of a skinny looking tackle, but maybe puts on a little bit of weight. I don't know. Maybe it's just the angle of the picture. Maybe not. Maybe he's not that small. Next up, we got Storm Norton. I always forget about Storm Norton, man. I feel like he could definitely be a quality starter. Maybe like the best in the XFL last year. Maybe he surprises a lot of people this year with the Bolts. Next up, we've got Brian Balaga, probably one of our best offseason acquisitions this year. Really nice to have that right side of the line squared away. Forrest Lamp, if he can stay healthy, please make this be the first year that Forrest Lamp can stay on the field. That would make me very happy. Trey Pipkins. I'm actually really crossing my fingers for Trey Pipkins, man. He showed flashes last year. If we can get him at left tackle, I feel a lot better than Sam Tevi, but again, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know what's up with him. I think he's back to practice. Obviously, he's wearing the unis. I think they just started wearing these not too long ago, so we'll see what happens with him at left tackle. Mike Williams, get well soon, man. There's talk that he may be out the entire, month of September. Hopefully, that's not the case. Why do they have him listed at tackle as well? That's hilarious. You guys see that? Stephen Anderson, our tight end. I think we're rostering 4 tight ends this year. Very interesting. I don't know much about this player, but welcome to the Bolts. Good depth piece. KJ Hill. I expect him to take the slot wide receiver role at some point, man. Him, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. I think it's going to be a great trio. Next up, Hunter Henry. Really hoping that Hunter Henry can stay healthy this year. He's one of my favorite Chargers on the team right now. I would be really sad, man, if we don't re-sign him after this season. Please stay healthy. Please get paid. Next up, we've got Virgil Green, another depth position at tight end. He's been okay. He's been pretty good. Jason Moore, wide receiver, depth position wide receiver here. I fully expect, our other guys to overtake him, but good to have him on the squad, number 89. Cortez Broughton, a defensive tackle. He's okay as well. Another defensive depth piece. Justin Jones, who could steal the role away, or probably has already earned it away from Jerry Tillery. Never know there. Linval Joseph. People ask me all the time, Director, what's your favorite offseason acquisition for the Bolts? I always tell them Linval Joseph. They're like, why? I'm like, because we've sucked at stopping the run. And this guy specializes in stopping the run. And he's got to be a great mentor for the rest of the defensive tackles on the roster. Joey Bosa, the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. Isaac Rochelle, one of the best backups at defensive end in the NFL. Jerry Tillery, number 99. Need to see some improvement from him. And that's the final 53, guys. The guys that I was really hoping that would make the roster that didn't, I think at the top of my list was Braden Fiocco. I was really hoping, man, the man who shocked the world with the Chargers and the Haka last week on Hard Knocks. He looked really solid, man. Obviously, he had that leadership role, and he had that fan favorite role of doing the Haka and showing, being very proud of his culture. Obviously, I'm going to be a huge fan of that. There's other guys on the squad, too, that I was surprised didn't make the cut. But let me know from you guys. Oh, Darius Jennings, too. But I think since we drafted Joe Reed, Darius Jennings kind of got pushed out. Guys, again, let me know in the comment section who you guys think is the most shocking cut from the Chargers. I know a lot of these guys made it onto the practice squad, including Brendan Fiocco, so we'll have to wait and see if they can make it onto the final roster if at some point we do need him. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been the Director. We'll see you next time, and as always, bolt up and stay frosty.